there, thank you for checking out this R&R Ask the Expert. Today I am very excited to be joined by Claire Smith and Rebecca Gibson, or Becky Gibson. They are the owners of Restoration One in Des Moines, Iowa, and they are the first women to own a Restoration One franchise, which is very exciting. They were close friends who worked together for more than 20 years in the photography business, and now here they are in restoration. So I'm going to toss it right over to them and have them tell us a little bit about their story. So Claire and Becky, thank you so much for joining me. Tell us your story and how you ended up in restoration when you were in photography and friends before this. That's a big change.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. Yes, so we worked together for 20 plus years in the school photography industry, never actually in the same state, but we met early on when I started 22 years ago, and worked collaboratively, even though we were in different roles and different states the whole time. And about 3 years ago, we just started talking about the idea of wanting to do something on our own our own business, drive our own values. And that's how we decided to purchase a franchise. And how we ended up where we are now was that we really wanted to do something that would use our B2B and B2C skills, which is what we did in our previous life, and be able to add in the values of being able to feel like everyone in the business was an owner, and to provide excellence and to treat our customers and our people with that same excellence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were very fortunate with our previous company. We, for a period of time, were employee owned. Mm-hmm. And we got to, early on in my day, I was able to see how that I was actually knew the business owner that sold the business to the employees. And it was really interesting to watch the fostering of a culture. And, like our previous company kind of went through a few changes, all very good and kind of as business ebbs and flows, but that ownership changed, and we saw the culture change a little bit too. And so as we talked about taking a look and running our own company, it was one of the tenets that we wanted to have, is that we would have this employee owned and customer first approach to a business. And then we looked at different opportunities and different franchises, and that was kind of part of our rubric, if you will, to how we ended up here today.
Awesome. Okay. So I know you worked with a franchise consultant who helped guide you kind of toward a service type business. So what did that process look like? How did you end up on restoration? And then how many different franchises were you kind of considering at the time before you zeroed in on where you wanted to be?
Yeah. I can start and then we can jump in.
Great.
We had a friend that has been in the franchise world for a long time. And as we were taking a look, we reached out and spoke with her. She had connected us with a gentleman by the name of Matt Stevens, who is in Columbus, Ohio. Fantastic, extremely professional individual.
Very grateful to him for his help.
He spent, what I would say is concise, but it takes time to really start to kind of hone in. But he had a very thorough process that helped us become very focused on the opportunities. So we went through a process with him, some interviewing, some testing even. I believe there was some pieces of that were in there. And then Matt came back with 3 or 4 really strong opportunities. We researched them. We looked at, did it make a difference in someone's life was one of them, the cause component. The other was return on investment. And not so much that we wanted to be greedy, but we wanted to be in a business where we could develop and invest in the community and in employees. And if you don't have that return on investment, it's really hard to do. Mm-hmm. So that was another component. And then we wanted to work with a franchise that really focused on supporting the franchisees. And as we did that and looked at different opportunities, Restoration One and the Restoration One team, Blue Frog Plumbing, as well as some others that their brands that they carry, we were really clearly the forefront of our decision making.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Claire, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think the only thing that I would add to that is that part of the process for us, and we looked for over a year, the defining piece that I think Matt helped us with was figuring out not just what did we want to be about and what did we not want to be about, and where were our interests and where did we were we definitely not interested in things, but he really helped us hone in on the financial piece of understanding our comfort level, which was a miss kind of through our first run of things that we were looking at. And that was really helpful. And as we've helped other people that we know, other friends, we said, understanding where you're financially comfortable and pairing that with what drives you, that was the winning ticket for us. That's what helped us get where we are.
Okay. Okay. So I believe you've been in business since about January, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So tell me where your company is at today. We're recording this in mid-May of 2021. So where's your company at today? Is it just you two? Do you have more? What does it look like today?
Yeah, we technically opened our doors around March. We've been obviously doing quite a bit of certifications from the beginning of January on. Currently, right now, we have between Claire and myself, we have a staff of 3 others. We have also kind of what we consider a part-time adjunct staff for professional services, being accounting, HR, and bookkeeping. And then we've got some thought leaders that have almost kind of served as a board advisors, if you will, in that front. But right now we have three employees so far, and our hope is to not really have 100 employees. That's not really kind of where we need to be and what we want to be doing. So I would say we're probably hoping to have maybe 10 to 20 employees full time when we're at peak, and we're hoping that's the next year or so.
Okay.
Yeah, to have a noticeable presence here in central Iowa, but not be so huge that we lose we want to make sure we never lose our core values and what it is that's driving us to do what we're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think our approach has been, as we took a look at the opportunities in the markets and we took a look at kind of where the market was today, for us in the central Iowa area, we want to be the concierge service of restoration. Very detail oriented, treat everyone's home really well. And so that's kind of our approach.
Okay. So are you doing mitigation and reconstruction, or just one or the other right now? What does that look like?
Yeah.
We are stopping at the mitigation part right now and then referring on. So water, fire, mold, smoke, trauma scene, and soon to be able to do some testing for both asbestos and lead, like very soon. So yeah, we want to be well-rounded in the mitigation side of the business.
So what kind of training have you been through so far? It sounds like quite a bit just in a few months. So tell us about what you've been through.
Yeah, we, the IICRC has some great training courses. So we have been certified in fire, mold, water, odor now. Trauma is next week. So we've spent a good bit of time that way.
Lead, I think, is next week.
Lead as well, in asbestos in a couple weeks. We spent a good bit of time. Restoration One has got a really incredible support network.
Yeah.
So we've actually gone out and met with a few different owners and spent time in their areas. So I would consider that some of the training of just kind of how they're operating. There were various sizes, so it was really helpful to see, a two truck company or 2 van company, if you will, to a 15 van organization,
or even 40
vans. Yeah, very different. So we did that, and we also had some hands-on training. We went down to Restoration One for their 2-week training that they had, and we happened to be there at the same time as the storms. So we actually, our first training was on our very own jobs.
Yeah.
So we had 2 jobs in rural Texas. The owners of the properties were fantastic, and we learned a lot in very short order because it was Claire and I.
That is a great way to learn, hands-on. I love it. Okay. So have you run into any hurdles yet, being 2 women in restoration or women in a construction related field?
We've got some funny ones for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time on this question, as you gave us some prep work. I think probably the first thing that's really interesting is for Claire and I were like, we came from an industry where there weren't a lot of women either. So I don't think we really
leadership roles.
Yeah. Yes. We really didn't even see it until we saw it in print, if that makes sense. We were chatting about the fact that, our families, my mom and my aunt and my dad, for that matter, there was never a question that women didn't do the same thing as men. And I think for Claire as well, I remember meeting Claire saying her mom said, you could be the president when you're 5 years old. You can do anything you want. So I think we're pretty lucky to come up with that angle.
And we're pretty used to being, 20 22 years ago, we were often the only women at the table in our old industry. So you get used to it, and you get used to it changing, right? So it wasn't like that by the time we left.
Yes.
And
That's a great way to put it.
we are hoping to see that it isn't like, oh, look, they're the first two women to buy a Restoration One business. We're just the next people that are buying a business that are, going to be very successful. So, and it's been really cool. So hurdles, back to your question.
They're fine. Go ahead.
Clothing.
Clothing.
We were never, Becky said, I will never, 2 separate syllables, ever wear a polo shirt again that doesn't fit me. Right. And we've all gotten handed the men's polo shirt that goes down below your behind and you tuck it in, and no,
In
just no.
stages.
The
Yeah.
big box. Yeah.
We were very intentional about finding clothing that actually fit, and even exactly where we wanted the logos placed. And it was fun when we joined Restoration One. The new COO is a female, and I think she feels exactly the same way as us, which is let's have some clothing that's appropriate for both genders. So that's been fun and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say the other was that, we certainly we want to be a well-rounded business and have all the right people working for us. And by right, I mean people that are skilled or willing to learn a skill. And we have been surprised that there are very few women out there. And so I think our approach is to set the example that women are in this business, women are in this industry, and, to make sure that everyone knows there's a place for them if they want to work hard and do a good job. Yeah.
The support side of things have been fantastic. I'm not sure about other franchises because we haven't, we've interviewed a bunch, but we aren't on the inner circle of it. The support from the corporate office and the field, the owners of franchisees of Restoration have been fantastic. They have all called, said, what do you need? What can you help with? Our first job here in Iowa, our tech got sick. And so we were literally calling our friends in Seattle and our friends in Iowa and, saying, okay, here's what we think we should do. And they're like, you're on track, or try this product. It'll make it easier for you. And I mean, everyone's been super helpful.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. We have folks that I would say, like, for instance, our buddy in Spokane has just been very intentionally helping us. And we are super grateful. But across the board, people have said, call us, whatever we can do to help you. And we definitely intend to pay that forward, and help those as well. We have a lot of sales experience and have said, we can help. We're not afraid to do that stuff. We don't necessarily know how to do certain things. So we'll call you for that at 11 o'clock our time, maybe 9 p.m. your time. And, but it's been great. It's been a super collaborative. And I think that's probably part of also what helped us choose this industry, was that we saw that it was collaborative, and we came from a really collaborative background. It's probably what makes it a little bit fun.
Yeah. Okay, so you've kind of sprinkled this answer throughout, but what is your goal with owning a restoration company now? Where do you hope to see yourself in a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be?
Yeah. So we're operating from my home right now, and we would love to, in the next 6 months, get big enough to be in a space where we're not parking 6 cars in the driveway. But you know what? Just about everybody, I think, starts small. We would like to move to being able to provide opportunities for our employees to grow, so being able to have some different positions for them. We definitely want to provide training and education, ongoing certifications for the team. I think, Becky, what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think, our intention of jumping into this business is probably a little bit different. We're at a different stage in our life than 20 something where you want to have this, bajillion-dollar organization. We want to run a very profitable organization that is got a great reputation first and foremost, and that we are able to take care of our people. And I know that probably, you hear that in so many books and so many lectures, but it's really one of the strong tenets that drives us each and every day, is that we can do that and serve people. I think that's really our goal. I think, our hope is in the next year or so that we're at that $1 million mark. There's different marks that you have. But I'm being able to provide steady, ongoing employment with career development for our team is probably where we could say, yep, we've just succeeded.
Yeah. We've definitely got the budget number set. You said it, $1 million is our goal in the next 12 months, or in 12 months. And to do that, we kind of have to double the business every month. So, yeah. So
I love it. Awesome. Okay. So what advice might you have for other women or people in general looking to get into the restoration industry or into franchising? What are your tips, suggestions?
I would say reach out to people. We did a lot of what they call validation calls, calling other owners. It was super helpful. And it was funny, as soon as we signed on the dotted line, we just kept doing it. We called some of the people that we'd met back and said, hey, we pulled the trigger, we bought a business, and asked for advice. And we haven't really stopped doing that. I would say it's been the best help to us is to find out, what are you doing? What do you wish you'd done differently? Becky, that was the first question she asked people when we would call them during validation, is what do you wish you'd done differently? And what were your ahas? You were like, I didn't see that coming. And those things have been super helpful to us. We've done a lot of things differently. Somebody asked us about our equipment package, and we're like, oh, we did our own equipment package.
Yeah.
So
based on research,
and those things have really helped us.
Yeah. I would say if we went backwards to where we are today, and if you were brand new and saying, hey, I'm interested in getting a job with a corporation, starting my own business from scratch, or buying a business through a broker, or working from a franchise perspective, if you go the franchise route, you get a lot of support that sometimes I think people can undervalue. As simple as insurance, access to business insurance is just one example where franchises really support. So my suggestion would be is that you really get in touch with someone that's a professional like Matt Stevens that can walk you through your risk tolerance, your engagement in the business, the climate of the business that you want to be in, and the return that you want. I would do that first. To Claire's point, that I would interview like crazy. I'd make sure that you really run your financials, run through budgets, and make sure, because you'll still have surprises if you spend hours and hours on that. And then I think the last one I'd say is make sure you have confidence in yourself and your dreams. It's easy to get rocked sometimes and get spooked, but you just got to trust that you've got that strength and that passion, and that's something you want to do. Life is funny. You don't get a lot of second chances at a lot of things. And I think the older you get, you realize, boy, I wish I hadn't have done it that way. And I wish I would have kind of done it this way. Take advantage of those insights and move.
I love it. Okay. A lot of wisdom here. That's awesome. Okay. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Great question.
It's a great question. This is one, and this is more of a personal interest maybe than anything. When we took a look at wanting to leave, 20-year careers, that's a big move, especially I'm a little bit older than both you and Claire. You really kind of wonder that confidence, right? I would hope if people are in the same position, they don't wait for the experiences that I had to have personally to make that choice. So as Claire and I started this process, we both had really big life events that happened, at least for me, that jarred me enough to say, your comfort zone isn't comfortable, even though you think it is. So I ended up, Claire's mom passed away, my mom passed away, and then I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. And so boom, 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 and finished chemo and started a business. Which my oncologist is like, you please don't do any more life changes until we talk about things. But if you've got people out there, then you can be an influence to them, Michelle. Don't wait for those type of life events to jar you into doing things and appreciating life. Do them because, do them when you're ready and believe in yourself.
I love it. Okay. It's been a pleasure meeting both of you. I've loved this conversation. So thank you very much for both of your times. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And good luck with the article and your journalism in general.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And fire up chips.
Fire up chips.
Take care. Thank you.